All right, how's everyone doing today? My name is Adam Starseed Bay, and today we are going to talk about on Facebook's censorship on fake news. Their perception of fake news, and YouTube has already begun this as well. Um, and the problem with this is what it's going to end up generating is it's going to make people start to lash out because it's going to make people feel like they're going to lose their their views on things, their findings, their discoveries, and things like that. And it's going to end up making a lot of people just frustrated because they can't fill out the research, right? The research is all out there. But because Facebook and YouTube are all corporate entities ran by the government and ran by main companies, it's going to it's going to be their views. It's going to be their views. They're going to choose what they want published on their companies because Facebook is a company. It's a government-owned company. Facebook allows um, the CIA and FBI to monitor the world. So it allows them to utilize our investigations in an easier way. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't really like to use Facebook. But we can't live in fear. We can't live in fear as long as you just are an honest person. That just handles your business from a professional standpoint, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. But I do highly encourage that you be careful who you friend yourself with. This is also a key thing, and it's talked about quite a bit. So just be careful on who you're friends with, because if you're a friend with somebody who's into a group, you can be held accountable. So you really need to go through your friends list, and I got to do that again myself, um, and just kind of just be cautious of who's in your friends list, because they're really going to start cracking down on this stuff. I mean, it's no lie. I mean, if you do your research, you're going to really learn a lot of things. And the same with YouTube. YouTube is a government-owned corporation, and it is now it is designing itself to allow the world, or allow America to let its voice be known, and letting it all to blend in. So if they have stuff on the news like ABC and Fox News and all that garbage, they want YouTube to accommodate for the same news, so it's not confusing the masses or confusing the people. And basically just a tool for mind control. And you can see this a lot, through businesses, corporations, the military is a good example, and I'll be using that term here shortly. So I try not to be too serious about this, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal, and a lot of people really they make their work environment based off of YouTube. So a lot of their stuff that they have promoted is actual, facts from an ancestral standpoint, historical standpoint, a history standpoint, and they bring a lot of real facts to the table. But because this whole fake news thing has gotten out there, it's going to make it harder for those people to generate a sense of real facts, because these companies, Facebook and YouTube, are going to um, just mow them over as fake news. it's Oh my gosh, man! It's crazy. It's just crazy. So and that's what I've been discussing too through my videos, is just utilizing the awareness of switching your words, switching your words on how you talk about things. That's going to help you not be censored. Is you're going to have to use a different mindset in bringing this stuff to the table. So if you got um, hidden ancestral knowledge, you're going to bring that to the table in a different way. Viewing current world events, you're going to have to just kind of talk about it in a different way. Don't bring the shock value to it. And it's hard because, shock value sells. It does. Could I get a lot more views if I created shock value? Probably. But that's not what I'm about. I don't want to generate shock values. That's the American mindset, is all about shock values and bringing your ego out to beyond words, man. It's crazy what people in America will do to gain an audience. You shouldn't have to act like a clown or an anime character. A lot of this over exaggerated humor came from Japan, came from anime. And I've been watching anime since it aired in America, and the over exaggeration of anime has generated into the American audience, and that's how people act now, and that's what sells, and it's ridiculous. And I won't go to that level. I won't. I'll definitely do my own creative ways of doing things, but not like that. But anyways, oh man, so how can we generate and look at this from a different perspective? So basically, I wrote a little thing on Facebook. Is that we have to create a business mindset on how we bring things to the table. We really need to allow our voice to be heard, allow our voice to be known, but bringing facts, bringing documents to the table in pinpointing what's going on, because we're going to have to, as a unit, we need to unify. We need to let go of the ego of, well, that's your opinion, okay? And this is where the opinion thing comes in. That's your opinion. The whole reason why this whole opinion thing was created, or conspiracy theory was created, was to make you look like a fool. Was to make you look like, oh, well, that's your opinion, but that's not the actual facts. The facts is what I say, right? The facts is what I say. Or the facts are what this famous person says, because you're a nobody, so your opinion doesn't matter. That's the mindset of America, and in some other countries as well. And we need to overlook this. And this is where I can bring, there's corporations and things like that, but the military is a good tool of realizing how this works. Okay, because say you got soldiers, you're a soldier, right? And then you got sergeants, you got generals, you got that whole chain of command, right? Well, if you're a soldier and your sergeant tells you you need to do this, and you say, well, that's not right, you realize what you're doing, the sergeant's going to say, your opinion doesn't matter, you need to do what you're told, or you're going to be court-martialed, right? Or you're going to be court-martialed, or punished, or whatever it may be. Creating that mindless slave aspect. That you do not matter, that you're just a body or a tool for someone else's gain, And, we we as people do matter. Each one of us matters. And the sad thing about it is that not a lot of people respect themselves or realize that they do matter. or realize that they can change the world. A lot of people just don't care. A lot of people don't know where to begin, and a lot of people are just scared that that they'll get yelled at or abused, um, speaking their opinion. And it's a twisted world, man. It really is. Like for me personally, we should all be treated equally. It's if we're helping a business or creating a business, we need to be able to be on the same page, on the same table, and work equally. We need to work equally. Um, and those who don't want to um, work like that, then they can leave. They can leave if they want, but definitely you need to bring something to the table and bring it in a professional manner and seeing how it can work to benefit everything as a whole. But that's from a business standpoint. But right now we really need to just really unite ourselves in realizing, seeing the changes and seeing the shifts that this world is trying to generate for itself. It's full of distractions. That's all it is, distractions. This whole fake news things is just a big distraction. It's a big distraction. It's to peel you away from searching self, discovering your spiritual essence, or just finding a way to heal yourself, to help heal yourself. That's what I'm all about. That's what my channel is about. So once in a while, I'll just bring some real talk, just like I am today. But we need to be able to build that confidence within ourselves and become our own self-leader. Because we are, depending on the age that you are, um, is we're going to be generating the future for our kids, right? I want my kids to live in a different world than what we have now. We have a very corrupt system, and it's just getting more corrupt, and it's going to get more and more corrupt if people don't take a stand in a professional manner. How can we do things in a professional manner without being irrational? I mean, my gosh, man. People are still creating all these protests, and again, that's going to probably happen tomorrow. You're going to see a lot of these protests on censorship, and we have rights, and it's against the um, uh, you know it's just against a lot of things. But at the end of the day, you're just going to look like a fool holding up a sign, and it ain't going to do anything because you're not treating things in a professional manner. You need to utilize the tools that are in front of us. Utilize the laws. Um, Look at what is, distinguishing what is fake news. What are they trying to promote? What is YouTube and Facebook trying to promote? What are they trying to weed out? Right? What are they trying to weed out? And it's common fact, that they're trying to weed out those who have open minds. Those who have open minds who um, see the matrix structure for what it is. You'd have to be blind not to see all the corruption and lies that are being unfolded before us. It's the apocalypse. Apocalypse translates to the great unveiling. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the unveiling of all of the lies and everything like that. The internet, has opened up the gateway of awareness. The gateway of awareness. We don't live in the 90s and 80s and stuff where the only kind of news we had was the newspaper, right? Was the newspaper, people talking on the telephone. Hey, this is what's going on in my town or city. People would make underground newspapers, talking about the stuff we talk about now. And that was it. That was all the news that we had. We didn't know what was going on around the world. And now we have everything. We have the whole world at our fingertips. We can find out everything, and this is what frustrates me is that, you know, people can see the whole world and they think, oh, the apocalypse is, their version of apocalypse, Armageddon, right? End time stuff. They think all these volcanoes and earthquakes and things like that are signs that the world is ending, right? But you do research and you'll read on great floods that happened in the 30s and grand volcanoes, big volcanoes erupted. There was one in the 90s, uh, massive earthquakes. All this stuff has happened over and over again constantly, and it's nothing new. It's just that's what the world goes through. The world's going to go through shifts, and because of that shock value, that shock value, that's what feeds the people because people want answers. People want answers, and I've said this time and time again. People are thirsty for knowledge. They want to know what's going on, and they're going to look to people like me, like you, and other people for answers. They want answers. And with this whole fake news thing, well, it's going to make it harder and harder for those who are seeking answers to find the real answers, and one of the key things is to realize, is that we don't always have all the answers. All we can do is just bring more and more stuff to the table, collecting evidence, um, to bring everything as a whole, And my computer totally froze up. Okay, there we go. Hopefully it's still going. I don't know what's going on here. All right. Hold on just a sec. I want to make sure I'm still recording here. Yeah. Okay. So I want to make sure, because that's the only way I can really post on YouTube is recording myself and then going live on Facebook. So yeah. So yeah. So I mean, man. So we really need to turn things up. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, you're gonna want to start speaking out. What do you want to see in the world? What are you wanting to create in the world? What is your purpose? What is your reason? I watched a Two Seeker podcast yesterday, and they were talking about, what is your life purpose? A lot of people um, know what their life purpose is, but to gain that awareness or to reach that goal, you have to work at it. You have to look at what works. Like myself, there's so many things that I'm interested in, so many things. And it can be overwhelming, because there are so many roads that I could have went down, um, that I could have chose. But back in 2010, and I've talked about this before, back in 2010, I had just an awakening, awakening of awareness, of what I was doing in my life and just what was happening around me, so many questions of, what was going on. I learned about all the conspiracy stuff and doing research on meditation and spirituality and food and politics and all of this stuff, right? All of this stuff. I just constantly did research. But one of the main things that caught my eye was meditation and learning about energy currents, learning how to heal yourself, learning how the psychic works, telekinesis, all of this stuff fascinated me. And what pinpointed it was I've always been curious and fascinated with what was out there. What was out there. I've always been astonished with UFOs and ETs and, just things like that. I've seen ghosts and I've had visions and dreams and all this stuff, that just kind of led me to where I am today. I question authorities. I question on how people ran things, on why they thought a certain way. All these things just added up to what I discovered in 2010. My whole purpose there was already laid out. The whole, everything I went through. I was a negative person. I had friends that, didn't make the best choices in the world, but it was a learning experience. It was a learning experience, and it allowed me to see where I need to be, and continuing to see that path unfold in front of me. I don't gain lots of views, and it could be because I'm not consistent enough. Definitely could be. I've been gone for what, a week and a half, because I've been working, so that really hindered my time on here. But it's just realizing, that we bring different things to the table, and it's saved in the archives. All of my videos, I constantly get views on my old videos. So videos that may not have been relevant 6 years ago now are gaining lots of views, because now it's being talked about. There's a lot of things that I've talked about that other people weren't talking about. So you just got to bring this stuff to the table and just realize it's archived for later for the people, right? Later for the people. So I really try not to look at views as, oh, hey, I'm failing. Maybe I need to look at doing something different. No, that's not what you do. You don't give up on something you need to continue to do, because it's going to generate. It's going to generate. And like I said, people are thirsty for knowledge. And with this whole fake news thing being a publicly known thing, I mean, literally, you're going to see Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all that stuff flooded with hate videos and all that stuff, man. It's going to be huge, and it's only going to take one day, and it's going to be huge. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a big deal. So this is the time for you to shine and bring stuff to the table. Bring stuff to the table. What is your life purpose? What are you going to do? The world is changing. The world is changing, and we need we need you guys. We need honest people that are going to help change that world, or otherwise we are going to have those who own the fake news, who own YouTube and Facebook and all the other stuff. I mean, it's no shocker, that the Vaticans, they own the majority of stuff. The elite own, the world leaders all work together and things like that. They own the whole world. They own the whole world. But they don't own us. They will tell you they own us, but they don't own us. They don't. And if we unite, put our ego beside us, and unite from a business mentality, professionalism, we can create change. You can look at timelines, and timelines are constantly changing. People are constantly predicting, well, this is the future. This is what's going to happen. The world's going to end. Blah, 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 blah. Things are constantly changing, and all of these predictions, constantly change, and they do. And same with astrology or astronomy. People say about the energy. Hey, the energy is this point, so this is how you're going to feel. Well, in your life, how do you feel? How do you feel? Where are you at? Where are you at in your life? Right? Where are you at in your life? Like I said, I'm all about healing. I'm all about healing, and the power that is within you. The power that is within you can create and generate that change. The world is leading into a Borg concept. I mean, it's so funny because I've been such a big fan of Star Trek ever since I was little, and when I saw the Borg, they really stuck out to me. So if you don't know what Star Trek Next Generation is or the Borg, look that up. But it's a hive mind. It's a hive mind, a collective, and they all uh, function on the mainframe, right? They function on the mainframe, and that's basically what the internet is turning into. Google is turning into that mainframe. You do research on Google, it has its own thought patterns, it can create its own profiles and all that stuff. It's its own mainframe. Um, and they talked about that in a movie. I'm trying to remember what it was called. I think it was called Hawk or something like that. It was with the actor who played in the first two Transformers live action movies. But it's a mainframe. It's a mainframe. We're being watched constantly. I constantly get tons of calls from all over the place, from New York. I've been recently getting tons of calls for a couple months now from Indiana. Just all these random calls all the time. And I was talking to one of the people I work with, and he's saying, hey, if people call you, they've already tapped into your microphone so they can hear you. I was like, no, I thought it was if you answer the phone that they could tap in, but apparently they can just tap in right as soon as they're logged into your phone. So, we have no privacy. I mean, there is no privacy. It's facts. No matter where you go, there's a camera. People have phones. You don't know who the secret agents are. I mean, there's secret agents all over the place, man. I mean, they can be as young as a 10-year-old kid. That's how extreme the Secret Service works. So, it's we have no privacy. We have no privacy, and we need to really come to that realization. That privacy is out the window, but we can make a stand and make changes for the future. So, because we're going into the land of robots and androids, and they're going to be running the show. At least that's their plan, anyways. And they'll make it to the point where they'll brainwash you into thinking, hey, you can move your mind or your what would that word be? Your thought process, right? All your memories, everything like that. They can move it to an android to make you feel that you can live forever, right? They can make you feel like you live forever. But the actuality is that you die, but they can just mimic you. They can mimic you. They can create a doppelganger of you, but it's not really you. You lose your soul. You cannot copy a soul. You may be able to copy thoughts and emotions and all that stuff, but they can never copy the soul, and that's the downfall. And that brings in a whole different subject on things. So yeah, so as a whole, for those who watch this video, you can generate change, but you need to be professional about it. We have to move past the aspects of this is your opinion. We have to move past riots and um, uh, all these take a stand action things. We just have to bring stuff to the table in a professional manner. We have to get rid of the clown persona or that obnoxious persona and just be real. Be real. That's what I'm all about. That's what a lot of people tell me, I'm a little too open and honest, but I mean, somebody has to, right? Somebody has to. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, concern, let me know. Definitely, if you like what I bring to the table, definitely subscribe. Hit the notification thing. Even though I've been told, those notification things are also being broken down as well. So, this censorship thing is just really getting out of hand. And I've noticed a lot too with Facebook is that now they're minimizing uh, the views too. So say you got 500 friends, right? Well, for some weird reason, you're locked into only maybe 10 to 20 people can see your post, and then you constantly say, hey, if you want to boost your page, well, spend $3 and 200 more people can see. But I'm like, okay, I got 500 people, or some of the pages I manage have like 26,000 people. So I'm like, okay, there's something wrong there. It's because it's a business. It's a business. Facebook is now a business. So basically, it's free to sign up, but if you want to make a difference, you got to pay. Same with YouTube. It's free to sign up, but if you want to make a difference, you have to pay. So that's kind of the world we're going into. So I think at the end of the day, um, to get out there, you are going to end up having to spend money, uh, and it sucks. It does, because I don't have a lot of money, man. you know, I'm working 40 plus hours a week, so it's hard enough just trying to make a video. Um, so yeah, unless if you guys help me out, man, if you can get my views up there and get me out there, or you know, that's pretty much it. But yeah, so everything's up to you guys. You can make the change, you can make the difference. Let your voice be heard. I don't know, close to almost 300 friends, and only a handful of them actually speak their views, and they want to see change in the world. I want to see all you guys, make changes to the world, and how we can better the world. We can unify each other. Look past diversity and look towards unity.